Federal's Result Day live coverage. What a blockbuster it has been on this Sunday afternoon. Congress has managed to retain a lead only in Telangana, where it is ahead of the BRS. And of course, it's been a big setback for Congress as far as Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh is concerned. And it's a big comeback for the BJP in Madhya Pradesh, where it's almost like a landslide victory, if I may say so. Now, the counting is still on. Of course, the final figures will be out in the evening, but it's very, very clear who is forming the government where. So BJP has added 2 states to its double engine. That is Madhya Pradesh and, of course, Rajasthan. Chhattisgarh was with Congress. Now Congress has lost it. So how does one see today's results? What have been the big takeaways for Congress and BJP? I have with me two young generation leaders from Congress and BJP, both. Anshul Abhijit joining us from Congress, spokesperson. Thank you so much, Abhijit,
Thank you.
there with us. And we have Anil Antony, who's the BJP leader and the spokesperson. Thank you so much for joining. We have Puneet Nicholas Yadav, senior editor with The Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet. We have D. Papa Rao joining us from Telangana. And we also have Gyan Verma, senior journalist with The Federal. Thank you so much, Gyan. And let me begin with Anshul Abhijit. Anshul, of course, it's a setback for Congress. Were you expecting this kind of a result, really?
Yeah, so Neeru, let me begin with Telangana. And I'll also end with Telangana. There's a muddle in the middle. Yeah, so I'll get to that as well. But the good news first. Yeah, for us, the good news first, and it's really good news. I mean, it's a complete turnaround. I won't mince any words. I think that it's a real emphatic victory in a state where nobody actually gave us a chance a couple of months back. The results of the last election were hanging like a shadow over this one as well. But it's been a complete turnaround, and a couple of factors were responsible for that. I just go through them very, very quickly. I don't want to sound cliched, but the Bharat Jodo Yatra certainly had an impact. Now, you can argue from the other side, it didn't have an impact on Madhya Pradesh, and what about Rajasthan? Things have a different kind of impact in different kind of places. After all, the country is not the same somewhere. So it did definitely have an impact on Karnataka and and Telangana as well. So therefore, we see the results of that today in the way the elections have turned out. Also, the Karnataka victory, I mean, that was a great victory for the Congress party. It came on the back of certain guarantees, which we call them. We don't call them yojanas. We don't call them policies. We call them guarantees, because pretty much we're sure that we're going to give it to those people that we promised them. So it came on the back of that. It also came on the back of an indictment of that government in Karnataka of being a 40 commission Sarkara. So there were a number of reasons. I think that spilled over. The effect of that energized its cadres, energized the Congress offices, its workers over there. There was a focused, calibrated attempt to win the election. And the leadership also got together. I mean, there were multiple rallies that were held by the Congress leadership, by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Kharge, Priyanka Gandhi ji, Revanth Reddy ji. We must also put in the amount of work that was put in by Mr. Uttam Kumar Reddy. I've been going to Telangana for a long time, even before the last election. So there, the meetings that were held, there were, groups, various kind of groups, caste groups that were being aligned time and again over the past few years. So it wasn't just a turnaround over the past few months, although that certainly helped. It's been a concerted effort over a period of time with the state leadership in Telangana. So I think the result was a manifestation of that. Yeah.
Right. Now, let me get in Anil Antony. Anil, congratulations to you. And were you really expecting to win over 3 states? Because the perception that was built was that apparently Congress will win Chhattisgarh, Congress will win Telangana. That, of course, was there. And even Rajasthan wasn't ruled out as far as Congress was concerned. But here, Congress has lost, and BJP seems to have added 2 states to its kitty.
Thank you, Neelu. So there is nothing surprising about today's results. I spoke to you 2 days back, and I had mentioned then also that we will win 3 of the 4 states, definitely. I even said 2/3 of the majority, and it happened as it is. Telangana, again, last time we only had 1 seat and 7% vote share. We have touched double digits now. I think at 9 right now. Counting is still going. And there is one more state. So let's say Mizoram also went to polls where I was the election co-in charge there, and the results will be out tomorrow. And we are very confident that there also, after the results are out, we will be a part of a coalition government. And after that, entire Northeast, 8 of 8 states in the Northeast will be governed by the BJP or some of our allies. So we are expanding our footprint everywhere. This election, after this election, too, we have won 2 new states. And along with that, in areas where we were not as strong previously, we are expanding there also. So the world's largest party is keeping on growing. And it is because of multiple reasons. One, we have a leader. We have a prime minister who is a generational leader who got a long-term vision for the country. We keep on telling that we intend to transform this country into a developed country by 2047. We have short-term objectives. We have very distinct policies that we are implementing in the ground, along with unprecedented growth. Where for a long time, we are the fastest.
Who would you give credit? Anil, whom would you give the credit for this victory? The credit goes to Shivraj, the credit goes to Vasundhara Raje, the credit goes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
The credit goes to the entire Bharatiya Janata Party members or karyakartas, etc., led by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So he is the most, let's be very honest here, he is the biggest mass leader who is in the country right now, across India, wherever it is, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from, let's say, Gujarat to the Northeast, wherever it is, he is the biggest mass leader. Wherever he goes, it makes a big difference also. Last time, all these states, we didn't have the most favorable of outcomes, where, let's say, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, we had lost. Telangana, we only had 1 seat. Karnataka, last time we had lost. But in the general election, we almost had 10-15% extra vote percentages when compared to our state elections. And that was mainly because of the leader we had, and people were voting for the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister definitely has a lot of gravitas wherever he is going.
But, one question which I'm going to surely ask you is that Shivraj Chauhan was sidelined initially, or if I may say the initial phase. Vasundhara wasn't put on the forefront. Now, if they are made chief ministers, will they not become a challenge for Narendra Modi?
So these are all again speculations which is very cut off from realities. I had mentioned very clearly earlier also that Shivrajji is a stalwart of our party, many time chief minister, I think almost 20 years chief minister, and it was all perception that he is being sidelined. No, he was leading the campaign in the state. He had done more events, public events, than anybody in that state.
So he's returning back as a chief minister. Shivraj is returning back as a chief minister?
So these are not questions which I can answer. These are all, we are a democratic party. We have a lot of MLAs. I think we have 100 plus MLAs in both the states. There will be discussions among the MLAs. There is a parliamentary board, and after discussions, the leadership and the parliamentary board will take the decisions that are best fitting for our party.
All right. Now let me come to Anshul. Anshul, I really want to understand from you what has really gone wrong with Congress in Madhya Pradesh. Was it only Kamal Nath who has spoilt the game for Congress? Because many people are saying that now the only man who is responsible for this kind of an humiliating defeat for Congress is Kamal Nath, because he gave confusing signals because of the narrative he was trying to build. He didn't listen to anybody. All sorts of things are being said, for him. So what is, according to you, is Kamal Nath really the biggest fall guy at the moment?
No, absolutely not. I mean, in any election, on any election lot, there are a composite set of factors that are responsible for that particular loss. Here, I'm completely flummoxed by the great margin of victory of the BJP. I've got to hand it to them. I mean, it's quite a lot. Completely unexpected as far as I'm concerned. Even if you were expecting not to cross the line, you wouldn't expect this much. So we have to go between the lines, read what actually happened. It's the old cliche, going back to the drawing room. That's all I can say at the moment, because I haven't a clue. But, to make anyone a scapegoat is something I will certainly not do. And it's also not true. I think that there was a concerted campaign that was run. There was a general impression. We thought that was an impression that it was a government that was stolen from us. We all know those dark days of democracy in 2020, where actually the pandemic, the lockdown during the pandemic was delayed because they wanted to have a government in place in Madhya Pradesh. So that is what happened. It was a government that was particularly stolen from us. We thought that it would go down well with the people. It also didn't. I mean, there could be a variety of reasons why this government has been elected to power. There were a number of scans also that this government was affected by. You know the entire list. I don't have to go through that. There was 18 years of anti-incumbency, essentially, which got partly because of these scams, all kinds of things. The sidelining of the leadership, what you mentioned, in Madhya Pradesh as well. I mean, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan was also removed from the parliamentary board. The BJP Karyakarni, he was actually taken away from there. So there was also this downsiding of the
Despite
leadership.
all, no, forget what BJP did, but Anshu, my point is that all the free hand was given to Kamal Nath, the free hand was given to Ashok Gehlot, but even then they seem to have lagged behind. Now, what are the main reasons for that? The welfareism, the policy of welfareism hasn't worked. What has not worked in favor of Congress?
No. So let's go one by one. If you mentioned Rajasthan, I'll come to that. Rajasthan, I was there for a long time. I was in the Kota area. I think there the schemes have been very, very effective, but particularly the Chiranjeevi scheme. It had a lot of resonance on the ground. I think it paid dividends. Even in the number of seats that have come or which will eventually come to the Congress party, I think that we will see that the schemes did have an effect. It can't be that they didn't have an effect. It wasn't the only scheme. There was an urban MNREGA scheme. I mean, the problem of unemployment that's there throughout this country, largely because of the incompetence of the central government. We had an urban MNREGA. We've been trying to get an urban MNREGA by the central government as well, because the levels of unemployment are so high in this country. The government keeps trying to hoodwink the people into believing that actually employment levels have gone up. But that data cannot be trusted at all, because what people are doing now is getting low quality, low paying jobs. The labor force participation rate throughout the country is at its weakest. It's around the world, if you see. Right. So apart from that, I think the schemes in Rajasthan have definitely worked. It has a historical ambivalence that we know about, a revolving door, call it what you want, a revolving door kind of politics. That might have played out. I don't think it was the scheme. Maybe there was anti-incumbency against certain individuals, maybe players. All these things have to be gone into detail. I can't answer off the cuff, but I know that since I was there, like I was in Chhattisgarh as well. I was in Chhattisgarh. There was pro-incumbency. I thought there was nothing against this government, which showed that it would give the kind of numbers it will if they actually pan out, if these become a reality. So there's nothing sure, because I was in the Bastar area. Perhaps we gave a lot of schemes for the tribal community as well, including forest produce, including the gathering of tendu leaves, all kinds of subsidies there. The subsidies given to farmers, the MSP levels that were raised are quite famous throughout the country. It at the highest MSP as far as rice was concerned. So as far as the policies were concerned, it was a composite economic package of money being given out, of asset creation, and also of insurance, as far as health or crop insurance or any other kind goes. So I don't think it was that. Maybe it was anti-incumbency against particular people. MLAs, we'll have to go. Maybe certain communities were disenchanted. We'll have to go into the reasons. I can't say offhand, but certainly there has to be an issue there. We have to look into those issues, and we have to regroup now.
Right. All right. S. Srinivasan, who's our editor-in-chief at The Federal, he also joins us. So thank you so much. But one question I'll ask Anil Antony before I go to Srini, sir. Anil, despite the great victory which BJP has got in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, of course, the secular issues like price rise, inflation, unemployment, they will continue to halt BJP. And don't you think that, you have to devise a method where, of course, the India Alliance now will dominate further on these issues? Now, are these issues not going to be a challenge, or you think that your party has worked around a formula where you have got a good mix of everything? You have communalism, you have the freebie package which you have offered, you have everything almost, so you're pretty confident that there is no challenge for you for 2024 now.
See, sadly, the opposition still hasn't really understood why people of this country are comprehensively rejecting them again and again and again. The last 9.5 years, like I mentioned, once our Prime Minister started leading this country, the first thing he said the first day was he is going to take everybody forward with this philosophy of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. And since then, at one side we are seeing growth. But then to ensure that there is equitable growth, we actually have been having a lot of schemes that has been empowering the people. Like, for example, people underestimate many of our large scale schemes. For example, like our Prime Minister's Awas Yojana, where almost 4 crore houses has been created. Almost 20 crore people live in those houses now. Let's say our Jal Jeevan mission, where almost 40 crore tap water connections have been created. Let's say during the Swachh Bharat, the campaign, almost 35 crore toilets have been created. Till 2014, the only 35-40% of the country had a toilet. Now it's almost 100%. Similarly, our digital public infrastructure we have created, where with time we have emerged as the third largest digital economy. And every single Indian uses one of our digital public infrastructures. Our UPI used by everybody. And then let's say a few days back, 80 crore people had been extended the Prime Minister's Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. So people are being empowered. They are given large scale capacity is being created in this country in a scale which we haven't seen before, along with growth. So we are seeing growth, we are seeing empowerment, we are seeing redistribution. And sadly, when all this is happening, where because of all this, every household in this country, I can guarantee you, is a beneficiary of 3 or 4 or 5 of the Prime Minister's schemes. Every single person in this country is actually a beneficiary of some of these schemes, which directly empowers the people, which directly helps the people. But then our opposition doesn't see any of those things, and then you are still beating around communalism, and then you keep talking about inequality and unemployment, etc., etc. All this all exists across the world, but things in India is actually better than anywhere else right now, and things in India right now is better than any time in the past also. We are constantly improving. We as a country, let's say in 2014, we were a 2 trillion economy. Now in 9.5 years, it has almost become a 4 trillion economy. You look at the per capita income of this country, again, it has almost doubled in the last 10 years. Like, there is constant improvement, which people can see in their regular lives, but our opposition cannot see because of certain reasons. So it is mainly political, where they are still stuck in some other era where
Anshul, you want to respond to this? The opposition cannot see this kind of empowerment which is playing out on the ground, and then I'll go to Srini, sir. Yes, Anshul.
First, a big hi to Srini, who was actually, I have to say, my editor when I joined India Today. And I owe him a debt because, he actually introduced me to television, a medium that I love, and that's why I'm here. So hi to him. So your question about, we can't see it on the ground. I mean, there are various reasons why people vote for a particular party. Sometimes what has happened, and we've seen it across the world, people are able to surmount their economic distress. There is no doubt. Let there be no doubt that there are gross levels of unemployment and also price rise and poverty in this country. The poverty figures given by this government of 13.5 crore people, Niti Aayog figures which are quoted repeatedly by the Prime Minister, are absolutely false, because I'll tell you why they're false. First of all, you haven't done a decadal census as yet. So you don't even know if there are 140 crore people in this country, a number that's often repeated, or 160. How will you make policies for people if you don't know their numbers? Secondly, a consumer expenditure survey, which is critical for measuring poverty in this country, has not been conducted since the UPA time in 2011. They did one in 2017. If I'm being technical, and I'll take only 2 seconds because this must be said, they buried that particular survey. We don't know the levels of poverty. In fact, if you give 80 crore people free food, it's an acknowledgement that 80 crore people, we don't know if that's 100 crore or 120, but 80 crore people need food after 10 years of you being in rule. So there is economic distress, let there be no doubt. But sometimes people vote for issues beyond that. There are emotional issues. The Prime Minister, I was there in Rajasthan, I was there in Chhattisgarh, I was there in Madhya Pradesh, came and tried to nationalize the election. They're trying to bring a national favor, and his nationalization is exactly what my friend Anil referred to, is the kind of the polarizing campaigns. He did say those words. He called Congress Atankwadi, he keeps calling India an Atankwadi organization. I mean, this is the Prime Minister. This is the Prime Minister. I don't think he should succumb to such language, but that it is. He tries to do it. Other leaders that were deployed in these places also tried to polarize the elections. I don't know if that worked in this elections. Time will tell whether it worked, but there was every attempt, and this is their default position. There is every attempt to polarize the electorate. Now, I don't know what really has worked. It's actually baffling for me, particularly, I have to say again, in Madhya Pradesh. So I'll have to really get into those figures and understand what region, how it really voted. Right. And even Chhattisgarh is a massive surprise. I mean, when we were expecting, but good news in Telangana. Yeah.
Right. All right. So let me come to Srini sir. Srini sir would try to put the things in perspective. What has gone horribly wrong as far as Congress is concerned, sir? And of course, Madhya Pradesh, which is a big surprise. We didn't expect this kind of a landslide victory, even though one of the exit polls did project a figure of up to 160. So what do the trends really show as far as the results of today's four states are concerned? Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Nilu. Welcome, Anshul. It's really nice having you and others. It's a bit baffling for me also. It's a bit inexplicable what had happened in Madhya Pradesh at least. In Rajasthan, it's fine. The results one would expect because they went through a turnstile all through, and then there must be certain anti-incumbency. In Chhattisgarh, again, it's been very close. Telangana has been a surprise for Congress. But Madhya Pradesh elections are way, way beyond than anybody would have, any analyst would have anticipated, except there are only one poll analysis, exit poll, which said very emphatically that they're going to win. But this is a landslide. This is a massive, vote share which BJP has gained. It's for BJP to explain how they got it, how they managed it. Of course, I heard the leaders, they're saying that it's because of better management, last minute connectivity, Modi ji's personal thing, involvement in this election, all those things. Our friend also referred to a few economic issues. But how do you explain for the fact that, post pandemic, Baghel also managed to pull out about 40 lakh people out of poverty in Chhattisgarh. If that was a yardstick, I think he hasn't done badly. How do you explain the fact that if there have been a lot of social welfare programs which were implemented in Madhya Pradesh, so is Telangana, where BRS has done a lot of things. How do you explain that, despite that they have lost to Congress? I mean, I would still weigh those words carefully because Congress is at 63, 64. The game may very well change if they go below. They touch about 60. They should be above 65 to be safe, I feel. But yet, you cannot, you have to say that it has been a tremendous turnaround for Congress in Telangana. But how do you explain these contradictions? Of course, also how BJP would explain the North versus South divide coming here, where BJP seemed to be doing very well in Hindi belt and not so well in the other part. Of course, in Telangana, they got a better vote share this time. It's over 13-14%, almost like what they got in Kerala, about 15% as in the election. And the question is whether this trend will continue to remain in 2024 as well, because this election has been completely fought, as far as BJP is concerned, on the face of Prime Minister Modi. The three chief minister candidates are not announced. In fact, Shivraj Singh Chauhan's candidature itself was included only in the fourth round. In the first three rounds, he wasn't there. There have been a lot of, they had to bring in, 7 members of parliament and failed in Madhya Pradesh. BJP had to do that. Similarly, in Rajasthan, they did it. Whether these things managed to beat anti-incumbency in Madhya Pradesh and kind of invigorate the party in Rajasthan, and what happened in Chhattisgarh, these are the issues really BJP maybe explaining it. But of course, BJP is explaining by giving a larger picture of, the larger narrative, national narrative of doing well in economy, doing well abroad. The another dimension that, India is now a leading thing in the world, in the world sphere, we are doing very well. These are the kind of narratives BJP is saying. But it makes this election very interesting because the Congress will have to now also look within. How are they going to now go forward from here? The India coalition, what is there now? How is that India coalition will now be? Does it now because Congress party was waiting for the December result, this result, before it starts talking about seat sharing once again. What kind of pushback it may get from other regional parties is a big question. And with this, of course, Telangana, they won because, but does it make them one among equals? And therefore, they'll have to sit and negotiate with all other. I mean, this whole attitude, the way they had dealt with Samajwadi Party before Madhya Pradesh and saying, who's Akhilesh? That kind of part arrogance, will it go now? So these are the questions, these are things which open up now after these results. That's what I feel.
And let me come to Mr. P. Paparao. Mr. Paparao, are we in a position to say that the Congress in Telangana, though Revanth Reddy probably was seen a short while back on his van and he was holding his hands amongst the people and moving out, but is Congress really safe to form the government over there? Or are there any dangers lurking around, as what Srini sir just pointed out?
Not as of now, because it has more of seats. Last time, just it has a marginal thing, and it did not come up to the 60 mark. 60 is the halfway mark for Telangana. It did not come up to 60 mark. And as KCR was able to have some of the people from Congress, that is what happened. And now this time around, it is not possible because KCR hardly has 35 now of the 60 mark, and including MIM also, they are hardly 37 or so, 38. So that it is not possible this time to have this whatever horse trading and all is not possible. And KCR is supposed to be sitting in the opposition. That is what is going to happen. And the other thing is, when this discussion is going on, I observed our friend Anil and Anshul. Reasons why the BJP is winning this kind of a win was some sort of a Ashwamedh sort of win. Why this is winning is, I want to say one thing first. It is the inefficiency and incapacity of Congress party. Congress party every time is failing in putting a proper opposition to BJP. This is what our who is that? He led the farmers agitation also from MP, and then he's in the journalist friend. He's almost all pointing out this always. The Congress party is the main reason why the BJP is surviving. And then he had a volte-face and Bharat Jodo Yatra he is participating. He is now saying that Congress party is the only alternative. And if at all you have seen the other thing, there is an interview of Devil's Advocate, Karan Thapar. In Karan Thapar's interview with Ramachandra Guha. Ramachandra Guha also told the same thing. After this, our journalist friend, whoever I told, I just can't remember the name. He also told the same thing. It is the Congress party that is mainly responsible for the failure of the opposition in this country. So now he has not backtracked on that. Ramchandra Guha did not backtrack on that. But this is what is happening. Congress party is totally unable to put up a proper opposition. And I remember Rajdeep Sardesai in one of his books saying that the only party that is ready for the 21st century politics in this country is BJP. There is a sort of backwardness as far as the politics are concerned in the rest of the political parties in this country. BJP is 21st century ready. That is what Rajdeep told in one of his books. That is not only with social media, but many other things. They have done a lot of Gramsci kind of thing.
Mr. Paparao, let me get in a response from Anshul on this. Anshul, Congress is just not ready with any kind of strategy so that it can counter BJP. How is it really going to pan out now in the next few months?
No, I don't think it's not that it's not ready. I mean, there are reasons why the BJP has become popular, why it's capturing the imagination. I call it a manufactured popularity.
Is that an escape route? Is that an escape route?
What? Sorry?
Is that an escape route?
No, I'm just telling you the reason.
Many other reasons.
No, I'm just telling you that what it seems is not actually what it is. The BJP has force multiplied its popularity. It's a manufactured popularity. It doesn't really exist. And therefore, it becomes some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll explain you exactly what I mean.
To say a thing like this on a day like this, people wouldn't believe, Anshul, that, things are not working with BJP. I mean, what can be those?
No, it's actually working. I'm not saying, I'm just telling you what is working. There is a propaganda machinery that's at work. There is a tyranny of the executive that's at work. There are threats that are at work. There is a composite weaponization.
Anshul, just hear me out. Congress also had a similar propaganda machinery in Chhattisgarh. My friend Puneet would agree. Everybody was saying that, media is totally putting out stories which are favoring Bhupesh Baghel. So you had the propaganda machinery existing in Chhattisgarh as well. What stopped you from putting up a propaganda machinery in Rajasthan? It was you had your own government over there. So which means that there are some deficiencies, some loopholes, which Congress apparently cannot comprehend at this point of time.
No doubt. No doubt that there would be. I'm not saying that the Congress is without it's not infallible, of course. I mean, there's a reason why it's done what it has. Everyone would admit. I am just saying that there's a qualitative difference in the way the BJP approaches politics and the way Congress does. I mean, they completely stoop to conquer. They subvert all kinds of processes. I mean, it's a manufactured popularity in the sense that school children are forced to listen to Man Ki Baat, that celebrities are forced to give the similar kind of tweets praising the government. So, if you critique the government, then your channel is bought. If you say that there was mismanagement during the COVID, there are raids. It's a qualitatively different kind of weaponization, which we haven't seen before. The curbing of civil.
Anshul, but wasn't Congress caught napping, even if BJP has managed to organize things at the 11th hour? I mean, look at the perception which was built right from the beginning. Everybody knew that, Congress will win Chhattisgarh, Congress will win Madhya Pradesh, that there is a wind blowing in favor of Congress. Now, at the last moment, what rabbit have they pulled out of the hat? And Congress was
I agree.
Napping.
I agree that there is, I don't know, maybe it was overconfident. Maybe their propaganda machinery wasn't working overtime. I do admit that the Congress always had a historical problem and a more recent problem of getting its messages across. For whatever reason, now I'm taking the excuse of the BJP and its weaponization. Even if you take another reason, I am admitting that it has a problem of getting its messages across. It's not that it's not had messages. It's constantly critiqued this government over China, over policy, economic policies. I've done innumerable sort of press conferences over economic policy, over Agniveer. We've had carpet bombing in that sense, critiquing not only critiquing the Congress, but also having your own positive program. Because we had the experience, we ran two very successful governments in which we were not even the majority party. There were UPA 1 and UPA 2. We came back and we were elected during a moment of India shining. So we've had a robust economic growth of 8% during that period. So we've had the kind of experience on the basis of that, we formulated policies. Yes, it hasn't worked. Yes, we have to look into that. And these are serious questions. Look, we can't keep going into these cliches. I completely agree, Neelu, that we can't go into these cliches कि हाँ drawing board पे जाएंगे और आत्म मंथन होगा दोबारा और देखेंगे क्या हुआ है. No, you have to seriously look at what is going wrong and re-strategize. I do agree that, it can't be the BJP's own weaponization cannot be some sort of alibi. It cannot be used as an excuse. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to explain to you what's going on in this country and the way there is a subversion that is going on. The way that the politics of emotion has overridden the politics of economic distress. That happens all over the world. It's happened right now, at least in the general election. Look, as far as this election is concerned, these particular Rajasthan, I can still understand because of historical reasons and the historical ambivalence that Rajasthan succumbs to time and again, the revolving door stuff and all that. But Chhattisgarh, I just cannot understand. Chhattisgarh more so, but Madhya Pradesh, as Srini was saying, I just can't understand it. So I'll have to go back and try and understand in a granular level, what has actually gone wrong. Yeah.
All right. Now let me come to my friend Puneet. Puneet, what would you really say to these trends? Srini sir has put the things in perspective. But I really want to understand from you. You were also traveling in Chhattisgarh. In fact, we were traveling together in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. We couldn't understand what was working really in favor of BJP, except for that one Ladli Behna scheme, which everybody was talking about and said that was the most popular scheme. But looking at this landslide victory of BJP, what would you really say? What has really worked in their favor? Maybe few X factors at the 11th hour, which BJP had proper? Yes.
Well, I mean, Neelu, as I was saying in the morning too, that among all these results, I think of course, now considering that even Chhattisgarh seems to be turning, but Madhya Pradesh is the one big shocker. Perhaps not so much in terms of the Congress losing or the BJP winning, but in terms of the margin of that victory. I mean, the way things are, even though it doesn't look like the BJP is repeating its 2003 performance, which has been its best performance in the state, ever, when it got 174 seats, but it's almost closing in on that. It's closing in at about 160, 158, 160, that's the range. And which is, after 2003, in fact, that's the best performance ever, compared to 2008, 13, 18, all of those elections. And if you actually look at the state, there is nothing, and I say this with a lot of responsibility, and I also come from that state, and I have a fair understanding, although I have to question myself now on what understanding I've had of the state's politics. But there is nothing that the BJP government in Madhya Pradesh has done to deserve this kind of a mandate. And I say this with great responsibility. Because if you look at the state, you look at it, I mean, if you minus the transactional nature of politics that we have, unfortunately, all political parties have succumbed to, of giving, these populist schemes and talking about, this 500 rupees a cylinder, Congress says 500 rupees for a gas cylinder, BJP in Madhya Pradesh, after charging 1100 for all these years, last few years is saying, okay, we will give it for 450 rupees. So, but if you minus that transactional nature of politics and look at the actual gains in terms of what has Madhya Pradesh got in terms of its health infrastructure, it's zero. If you go and visit any hospital in Madhya Pradesh, a government-run hospital in Madhya Pradesh, it's in a bad state. Most hospitals don't even have proper staff. In Bhopal, which is the national capital, the biggest hospital run by the government is the Hamidia Hospital. Half of its staff is absent. It doesn't have that staff. They've all just left and joined private hospitals. In terms of education, you look at how many, what kind of institutes for higher learning does the state have? Digvijay Singh, for all his faults, and he, the man who's often accused of ruining the Congress party in Madhya Pradesh, when he was chief minister, there was this whole focus on education, although he made a complete mess of Bijli Sadak Pani. But, on the issue of education, you had these centers of excellence that were set up in different areas. In Madhya Pradesh, over the last 18 years, how many centers of excellence have managed to even survive? I mean, forget new ones that were built. So I don't really understand, barring the populism of Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government, the charisma of the Prime Minister, and I would certainly say this whole jingoism of the BJP's narrative. There is nothing in terms of actual gain in terms of infrastructure
You've pointed out important things over there, and I would like to get in Anil Anthony here. Anil, you would like to respond?
I do, Neelu, yes. Just if I can just have one line, on Chhattisgarh, because right. The Chhattisgarh election result has been again very contrary to what everyone had been saying. But one thing that I'd like to point out is the complete reversal of what had happened in 2018 and what is happening now. And, in one of my pieces on the Bastar region for TheFederal, I had talked about how, if the signs in Bastar are anything to go by, the Congress has reasons to worry. Because, 2018, Bastar and North Chhattisgarh, Sarguja, these were two regions that the Congress had completely swept. 14 seats in Sarguja region, 12 seats in Bastar. Together, 26 seats. So out of those 68 that they had won in 2018, 26 came from just these two. And I remember meeting some Congress leaders in Chhattisgarh while I was there to cover the campaign. And they said that, we might lose a few seats in Bastar and in North Chhattisgarh, but we'll make up for that this time in the plains, which is the Bilaspur, Durg, Bhilai, Raipur region. Surprisingly, what has happened is they have not managed to retain anything in North Chhattisgarh and South Chhattisgarh, which is Sarguja and Bastar. It's a complete wipeout of the Congress in both. In fact, a moment ago, I saw even T.S. Singh Dev trailing, from Ambikapur. Bhupesh Baghel has been trailing from Patan. So complete wipeout in both these regions. Whereas they have managed to actually gain a few seats, which were traditional BJP seats in the plains, but then the seats that they were hoping to gain, they've not gained at all.
Yeah. All right. Now let me come to Anil. Anil also has to leave the channel, and both Anshul and Anil I'll come to. Anil, I'm coming to you first. That now, from here on, after getting these three states in your kitty, what is going to be the main fulcrum on which BJP is going to emphasize its campaigns in the coming months? Is it going to be welfarism? Is it going to be Hindutva? You will resort to polarization. What is going to be your main plank? Apart from what the cliched statement coming from BJP always is, hum to vikas ki politics karte hain. Yes.
It's true also. So we have a policy of taking 140 crore people together. We have every intention to transform this country into a developed country in the future. And we have long-term objectives. My dear panelist, Dr. Anshul, he was mentioning some time back that, let's say, our popularity is manufactured. But then let me again bring some reality here, where, let's say, we are a party in the last two elections, 2014, 2019. We had two of the largest mandates in modern history after 1984. Right now, we are the world's largest party, which is still expanding. We are expanding our footprints. Like, for example, in the South Indian states, Northeastern states, we are still expanding, we are growing. And that is because people are voting for us, because people believe in the vision we are presenting in front of the people. This time also, four state elections today, the results came. Three incumbent governments in the BRS government in Telangana and the two Congress governments, both lost very miserably. While, let's say, in Madhya Pradesh, our government, despite 20 years of governance there and a lot of perceived anti-incumbency, we have again come back. You look at the Bharatiya Janata Party now, like some of the states where we are strongest, say in UP, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, term after term, people are voting for us with bigger and bigger mandates. Why? Because we are delivering. The anti-incumbency doesn't. At the same time,
are you hinting at the fact, Anil, that for 2024, BJP is going to come back with a much more handsome margin than what you won in 2019?
See, I'm very confident that in 2024, just like in 2014 and 2019, we are led by our Prime Minister. We are going to have a very decisive.
But you didn't answer my question. 2014 and 2019 had big ideas. You had a big idea like Pulwama, which happened by default. Then you had 2014, where Modi ji promised a lot of change.
Yes,
now,
and change is happening in a sustained manner.
2024, what is going to be your big idea? Or are you still exploring?
So there is nothing to explore. We went to this election, these state elections also with a very clear, we presented to the people a very clear set of ideas. We presented a very clear vision of uplifting them. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, where we are actually transforming the people's life. We are giving them avenues of social and economic mobility. We are empowering people, and we are transforming this nation into a developed country. So there is a very clear vision that we have presented to the people. And 24 also, we are doing the same thing, where it's for 10 years of sustained excellence in governance. It's good governance at one side versus an opposition which is clueless in every manner. You have an alliance called this India Alliance, where a bunch of parties have come together. They don't have any common vision. They don't have a common narration. They don't have a leader. They don't even know what they stand for, except that they all want to remove the Prime Minister, who is the biggest mass leader in India with a stature in the global stage, which hasn't been seen in a long time. So, one, you have a opposition like this, and two, there is a government that has been performing for 10 years, which is delivering on everything we have said we will deliver, and we are taking the country forward. So for the people of this people of this country, it's a very clear choice between two sides. And I'm very sure that in 24 also, just like in 2014, just like in 19, it's going to be a clear mandate for us, where this time we have 10 years of proven track record in our side. Last time we had 5 years, this time we'll have 10 years, and nothing, and things will go on. So a lot of people still wonder why we are getting elected. Like I said, like, I don't know when was the last time a Congress government actually repeated anywhere, or any of the at the same time in places where our organization is strong. We are coming back again and again. People are voting for us again and again because people trust in our track record, and people do think that it is now becoming very evident that when we say double engine growth, a lot of our skeptics think it's a cliche, but at the national level, we have a prime minister who has a very clear vision for the country, and the state level also.
But despite all the double engine narrative, Anil, you do seem to have a lot of challenges. Your engine doesn't seem to be working in Manipur. The prime minister doesn't go to Mizoram because the chief minister refused to share the platform with him. So, and then you have a price rise, you have inflation, you have several other issues.
In Mizoram, I was the election in charge there. So
BJP will continue to be questioned on how, there is discrimination against the minorities. So all these issues do exist, no matter what you may say.
So again, you look at some of these, let's say, northeastern states. 5 years back, like I already mentioned before, the Bharatiya Janata Party didn't have a single government there. Now, 7 of 8 governments there, after we created our Act East policy, where in the last 9 years, we have spent almost 7 lakh crores there in new projects, increased connectivity, the infrastructure, the ports, the airports, etc. We almost tripled or quadrupled in capacity. And in the last 5 years, 7 of 8 states have voted for the Bharatiya Janata Party, or it's a government that is led by one of our allies. Now, Mizoram is the only exception where, like I said, I'm very confident that after tomorrow that is going to change, where it's going to be 8 out of 8. So parties, again, state after state, where even minority, let's say in states like Arunachal Pradesh, or a state like Meghalaya, a state like Nagaland, all of them have like minorities across India are actually majority there, but they are also confidently voting for the NDA. So this narration that minorities don't vote for the BJP or they don't like the BJP is, again, it's a misconception that is created by the opposition. Goa is another example where 30-40% are minorities, but they are all voting for the BJP. So now the opposition, actually, I think that they should try to understand realities. They need to understand why they are voting for the BJP instead of, let's say, beating around old cliches like polarization, or
we can't dismiss too much today what you're saying, because it's your day. And Anshul, I really want to understand now, before I let you and Anil go, that BJP does look like an unassailable force at the moment. Now, what is going to be your formula so that you present yourself, and rather Congress along with the India Alliance, so that you make yourself presentable before the people, in the sense that people do think that this is a credible force for which we need to vote? Right now, currently, there just seems to be no alternative to BJP.
No, I mean, there is Telangana, which is really good. I have to repeat that. That's the good news of the day for us. So I'm going to repeat it. Look, there is, in a democracy, it's all fair. Anil spoke about the BJP increasing its footprints.
Telangana, Anshul, certainly is good news, but does it also open a bigger gateway for the South as well for you? If that becomes a story, then it will become a happier story for you. Will you be able to do that then?
No, not only that, what Telangana does is there was this kind of misconception, I would say, that when a regional party establishes itself in a state and wins a couple of terms, then the Congress can't surmount that kind of challenge. So that has really been overturned here. I mean, it used to go around, everyone used to say it in TV rooms, it used to come out in op-ed columns. I don't think they'll say that anymore. Telangana is a case in point regarding that. It's a blazing example of that. That's why it's such a significant victory, where a regional party has been uprooted in the way it has been. I think it's it's an emphatic victory when no one gave us a chance some months back. Look, my problem is that in a democracy, it's okay for any political party, be it the BJP or any other regional party, to expand its footprints. It's good. It's healthy for democracy. The problem is in the manner in which the BJP has been consistently doing it. In some of the things you also mentioned, I do think that their politics is deeply, deeply divisive, deeply polarizing. It resorts its default position. Many of the people have admitted that. You have to listen to the many of the things that have been said in Parliament. The same parliamentarian was deployed in Rajasthan, in the Tonk region, to spread this kind of venom. I mean, you have chief ministerial aspirants in Rajasthan who made exceedingly divisive statements. This is not appetizing for politics, right? There's a qualitatively bad politics which is not going to be good for this country. Of course, expand, earn the trust of the electorate. That is the democracy is all about that. You earn the trust. If we have not been able to do it, well, too bad for us. We should be able to do it. But this kind of politics is really, we have been calling their bluff on this. The Bharat Jodo Yatra was all about telling the people, listen, this weaponization, this is actually what's been happening in this country. We want to bring people together. They want to divide. This is actually what's been happening. These are not just moral, too good statements just coming.
Anshul, Congress spokespersons and
Neelu,
Congress...
I have a specific question if we can ask Anshul.
Yes. Yes, sir.
One is, what is Madhya Pradesh telling you? What is Rajasthan telling you? And what is Telangana telling you? Should you be going for more younger leaders now? Because you have a very young, fresh leader, Revant, who has done very well. And Kamalnath and Gehlot. Do you think younger leadership would do better? Another question is, this applies both to BJP and Congress. What is going to be your strategy for the Hindi belt? Because you seem to be losing election after election. And on the other hand, what is going to be the strategy of BJP for the southern states?
Yeah, Shuni. So the first question between old and young, if I may. I don't believe in this polarization at all. I don't think that, the young in the Congress or the old or any other party should be pitted against each other. And so it should be some kind of a bloodbath, a Hegelian sort of fallout in which the young emerge victorious. I mean, you can have, the Prime Minister himself, if the BJP says that he's exceedingly popular for various reasons, is certainly not a strapping young man. He has particular age. Ashok Gehlot, exceedingly popular in the state, still is, I would say. When polls were conducted, he was the person whose name came up first as chief minister. It's another matter what they've done. But he's not young either. There are a number of examples where age has to do with experience and popularity. I don't think that this binary, I don't succumb to it at all. I don't buy into it. Being a particular age myself, I don't think it makes any difference. You have to have experience, you have to have charisma, and that can happen in old and young alike.
Anshul, in both the states, Shuni sir has a point when he's asking you this question, because Gehlot has the experience, he has the charisma. Kamalnath also seemed to have all the experience and also one of the tall leaders. Then what went wrong, really?
But I don't think age was... But I don't think we can really make a trend out of age as yet. If it happens, it happens. I don't think it can be made out. In any of the states, in fact. What about Shivraj Chauhan? He's not a young man either. He's been 18 years in power. He's been elected. And we can't understand why. Out of many of the reasons that has been suggested, still the kind of economic parameters in the state, the kind of governance, we don't know why he's been elected. He's not young either. So I don't think a trend can be made out. That was a question. I don't agree that there should be this kind of dichotomous relationship between young and old. As far as, what should be the roadmap for the future, well, I don't think these are semi-finals or, trailers or precursors, whatever, because if that is the case, then we have good news, because last time, actually, the BJP lost and then won 2019. So there is good news for us waiting for that. I think we have to earn, again, we have to go back. We have to earn the trust of the electorate. We have to go back to the India Alliance. We have to find out a common minimum program. We have to work together, convene a session, and do all the necessary things. Yeah.
Anshul, I think you have to go for another channel. So I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining. But now I'm going to come to my friend Gyan, who's been waiting for long. Sorry, Gyan, to keep you waiting. But what are you picking up from your sources as to what is really happening currently now in Rajasthan? Have you been able to speak to a few BJP leaders as to what's really going to happen? Who will be their chief minister? What is Vasundhara doing at the moment? Any update on that?
Believe me, Neelu, the only person who can answer this question is the Prime Minister. he would know who will become the chief minister. But I would say that the game is not over for Vasundhara.
Okay.
She is still the senior most leader. Yes, BJP has a number of contenders, be it Mr. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat or the Lok Sabha Speaker, Mr. Om Birla, or Mr. Meghwal, but I will still not rule out Vasundhara Raje.
No, but if Vasundhara is made the chief minister, despite being sidelined by the party, what will happen to the other claimants? Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, then you have so many others in line.
They are already central ministers.
Hmm.
So he will continue to work for the party, and he can't challenge the decision of the prime minister or the parliamentary board. No BJP leader, no senior minister can do that.
All right.
So
I guess we'll have to wait and watch as to what happens in Rajasthan.
the parliamentary board is going to be meeting, so
Yes.
there'll be a lot of clarity after the meeting. What happens?
All right. Mr. Paparao, I really want to understand now what are the undercurrents in Telangana. Do you see Revant Reddy carrying on with a stable government for at least few months, or you see some kind of a turmoil in Telangana maybe in the next 3-4 months? What about the stability factor, despite the numbers they have?
If at all anything happens, it happens at the instant, because there are a lot of CM aspirants, Chief Minister aspirants in Telangana for Congress. If at all any churning is there, it will happen almost tonight itself, today. Today it will start, because till the election they are keeping quiet at least. Now they will start expressing their own intentions and aspirations, because almost half a dozen or dozen people are there aspiring for the CM post in Telangana. Compared to Karnataka, there are only 2 people there, Siddaramaiah and Sivakumar. Here there are many people from Nalgonda, one district itself. There are many people and a lot of aspirants for the CM post. That is why I think if at all anything happens immediately, starts immediately, and that at the instance also makes the people disgruntled with whatever has happened, because they have voted for the Congress with a lot of hope. With a lot of hope, the things might change. And if they start quarreling among themselves now itself, people will be disappointed instantly. That can happen anytime. And the other thing is, when it comes to this question of what Congress should do in order to have a brighter future, the 2024 elections or whatever it might be, I want to say Karnataka, they had a formula. Karnataka formula, if at all you observe, I forgot the name before when I talked in the first round, it is Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra Yadav is writing an article that we are ignoring class in the psephology. In the election studies, we are ignoring the class. Now class has become very important. We are realizing it in Karnataka. And Karnataka Congress party has taken a stand whereby the lower sections of the people, low income people, they were really attracted by the Congress party. They were attracted to the Congress party, and Congress party has an agenda and a study. Actually, it is a case study they have done, and thoroughly they have gone to the ground level and did that. And later on, what they are doing is that mechanistically applying at the same formula to Telangana. And that same formula, they had that 6 guarantees here, like the 5 guarantees in Karnataka. Luckily, they have one here, but not because of the 6 guarantees. It is because of the antipathy toward KCR. The Congress party has won, not because of its 6 guarantees. I can say it for sure. People are very angry with KCR. Maybe reasons I too don't know. But I can tell last time also I'm writing about a book. This book, True Believer. True Believer, this is a very interesting book that is talking about the point of when there is a particular level of development, people tend to feel discontent. That begins then. Discontent begins then. Till then, there won't be much discontent. That is what is happening perhaps in Telangana. People are discontented because there is a particular level of development, and the dreams of the people were awakened. They started dreaming, and there are many aspirations now. And that immediately cannot be fulfilled. There, the KCR government has failed. And other things are there anyway.
Mr. Paparao, there's another question which I had in mind, and that is that the impact of KCR's defeat on the party structure within the BRS. Now, are we going to see attritions happening? Maybe people from BRS would leave and join Congress. What is the kind of social movement we are going to see as far as the party structure within BRS is concerned?
BRS has no proper party structure. It's more of family oriented, that is true. But it has a lot of, as it at that movement, Telangana agitation and the movement are there. Because of that, there is a lot of spirited cadre sort of thing, but no proper structure like the BJP or the communist parties. There is no proper structure. That is where the KCR has done a mistake. If he built up he tried to build in the last moments of that. He has no proper, thoroughly built up structure. But Congress is much weaker compared to TRS. Congress too is much weaker. So that so there might be some churning, and many people might leave because these days the spirit of the agitation and the movement are gone, because Telangana has become more prosperous now, more prosperous compared to 10 years back. It has a lot of prosperity, and this thing might lead to. And what is happening is that with prosperity, it is not the discipline and the further aspiration on the basis of pragmatic goals and all. It is not happening just because of the financialization of the entire global environment. There is a sort of anarchy here everywhere. People can leave KCR. That can happen. Many people leave. That is often happens when you. There is a book, The Power, the 48 Principles of Power. It says that when you fall down, there are many people ready to trample upon you. Even your friends might trample upon you. This happens, this is the way the world is. So that is why it is always you have to take care that you don't fall. But when you fell, there will be many people you don't know who will be trampling upon you. So that is the reason. And I say, Telangana, this family rule, but many negatives are there. But as far as the positive is that, there is an unprecedented development in the Telangana as far as the industry is concerned, Hyderabad, and even the decentralization of the industry is there. But people, maybe Telangana to a little extent is different from other states. It is more of the kind of soul that works here, that what you call it, not exactly, but there is a spirit, not by bread alone sort of thing is there. But maybe things are changing now. There is a lot of prosperity that is coming up. Real estate has increased, and the effects of all that will be there on the corruption of I don't mean people should not be prosperous or happier, but Tavo and Jan talk about modest poverty, modest prosperity, or modest poverty are better than stinking richness. That is what might be happening.
But what about the equation between BRS, AIMIM, and BJP? There seemed to be a tacit understanding.
That will be proven now. I got your point. MIM is directly helping the BJP in every state, that is known. And people here also, Muslims also realized here that MIM is doing that. That is why MIM is having a tough time here. It is contesting, it is expecting to win 7 seats, but it might not win. Already so far as of now, it is just 4 seats it is leading. 3, I don't know. 3 seats it has won. And I don't know whether it will win all or not, because it is not possible. Because Muslims also realize this is not a party working for us. This is a sort of Trojan horse among us, a sort of feeling is there. But when it comes to BRS, the relation between BRS and MIM, there is a positive relation between them. And the BRS is openly saying they are our friends and they will support us when we have a shortage in the terms of numbers. But when it comes to BRS and BJP, I doubt. Even I have a positive sort of approach towards BRS. It might not compromise with BJP, but let us wait and watch. Many things are there, because if Congress is on the offensive, because Revant is talking about hunting begins once we win, sort of. If the hunt begins, maybe the recourse to BRS might be joining hands with the BJP. That is where everybody has to be careful, even the Congress, because they should not resort to witch hunting that might increase its enemies and lessen the prospect of India, the aliens winning at the center, because you have to have more friends. And that is what happened with Jagan Mohan Reddy also previously. They wanted to have a show off because he did not listen to them. That led to his total alienation from them. So that is not what is wanted. If you have that inner feeling of forgiving and being amicable to people, that will be more useful in the long run in the politics, and that they did not do most of the things. And other thing I want to point about Congress in this election is that Congress is not a honest friend to its allies. In the India alliance, there are these Aam Aadmi Party is there, Samajwadi Party is there, Communist parties are there. but none of them were properly accommodated, neither AIC in MP. Aam Aadmi Party is discontented. Samajwadi Party contested separately, I think. It is also discontented. And if you see in the three states of Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Telangana, communist parties were totally alienated by the
No, that's an important point. In fact, I'll
Telangana, they have given a seat to
Yeah.
CPI, but rest of the states, they have there is no Mitra
No,
Dharma.
of course. What you're pointing out is that the allies apparently are feeling shortchanged. I'll ask this question to Srini sir and Puneet sir. But Gyan, the TV channels have already started flashing what I'm reading here. Rajesh, Shekhawat and Meghwal among contenders for CM's post. They've already started flashing.
True, that is true. So BJP will send an observer to Rajasthan, to Jaipur tomorrow, I think, and then there will be a CLP meeting and a leader will be selected. But let's see what happens. Raje is still a contender.
Okay, so she continues to be a contender, but I'll come back to the India alliance bit, Srini sir, and to you now that the allies feel that they were shortchanged by Congress's approach in these assembly elections. Now, what would be the approach of Congress now? Of course, they will not be on a position of strength to bargain with other political parties, but will Congress emerge as a cohesive force now? Or will it be treated as a weaker force by the other parties? Just want to understand the dynamics, how it will play out when the India Alliance meeting happens.
Yeah, I think the Congress party will be slightly more chosen now. When they will sit with others, they'll be slightly more moderate in their approach, because Congress party had begun to believe that it has got the momentum as the election campaign was going, and some of the leaders, in fact, had begun to speak a bit arrogantly. They were, in fact, were more confident of basically. In fact, there's one Congress leader who told me that if we have to renegotiate DMK, we must have more than two-digit tickets in the forthcoming parliamentary elections. So that swag will certainly will go. But on the other hand, I'm not very sure if to be fair to Congress party, the whole alliance wasn't made for assembly elections. It was meant for parliament election. They made it very clear right from the beginning, because it's a two-way. It works two-way, both the ways. If the Congress hadn't done well in these elections, they stood a very little chance of being accepted as a part of a coalition. And if they did very well, then there was another problem. So they had to walk the tightrope. So to understand from that perspective, it was a tightrope for Congress party. But if you look at the results, and I have to recheck again the vote share of what BSP has got, what SP has got. I think in the Bundelkhand region in Madhya Pradesh, they haven't managed very. Last time, I think they were leading in 7 and or they had 6 MLAs, something like that.
No, last time they had 1 MLA.
The 1 MLA, 6 seats they were leading, or second, I think, good second or something.
No, they were second on 3 seats, and they had won 1 seat.
Okay, but this time I think the vote share is even lower. So
much lower.
Much lower. So one has to check that out. So whether
lower
actually
than the BSPs.
Yeah. In fact, in one place I noticed that Aam Aadmi Party is lower than Nota. So, these claims, obviously, all parties have their own ambition of expanding into newer territories, but then they all also have to take into account the ground reality. So it had been traditionally a two-way fight between BJP and Congress in at least these 3 states, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Rajasthan. And in that sense, probably Congress was playing it the way you described. But they could have been at least more tactical in that. Instead of calling who's Akhilesh, Vikhilesh, the Congress leaders could have been more careful in dealing with them. So these kind of things do ruffle the feathers. I think going forward now, since the meeting has already been called by the Congress president, I think they would have much more meaningful dialogue now than what they had earlier. It's for Puneet to say actually what is probably will happen on the ground as he watches Congress much more closely.
Yes, Puneet, over to you, and then we'll wind up the show then. Yeah.
Well, as far as the India Alliance is concerned, I think, and I would have to say that to an extent, I think this is a result that benefits the alliance.
Yes.
Because you have a Congress that will not be able to come back on a high horse to the top stable. They'll have to come with their heads bowed with a sense of humility and embarrassment, because the product that was shown to the India Alliance before the results was very different from what has been delivered. And so I think negotiations would be a little easier. But at the same time, let us also not forget that, it would also mean that the allies that they want to have an alliance with will also need to be just as pragmatic. You cannot have a situation where, because the Congress has performed very poorly in Madhya Pradesh and the friction that we saw between Akhilesh and Kamal Nath during those negotiations, you cannot have a situation where tomorrow when you discuss, because they have to discuss it state-wise, if you are discussing state-wise analysis, coalition, and you sit down with Akhilesh to talk about UP, and he suddenly says that, okay, I'll give you these many in UP, provided you give me 4 Lok Sabha seats in Madhya Pradesh. Because they will have to factor in their own presence. Just because the Congress has performed very poorly in these assembly elections should not be a ground for the allies to demand an unfair amount of seats from the Congress either. So it has to cut both ways. That's something that I think I see the alliance, the talks progressing on. One thing that I'd want to, mention, and maybe Mr. Paparao can, weigh in on this, is we're all, talking a lot about the Congress's emphatic win in Telangana. But there is another interesting thing that's happened in Telangana, which is the BJP's performance. It's gone up from 1 seat that it had won last time to the last time that I saw. I don't have a thing available with me, but the last when I checked, it was, I think, leading on 9 seats. Okay, 7 seats, but with a vote share of close to 15%. Yeah. The last time around, if I'm not wrong, their vote share was just about 6.8 or 6.9%. So they've doubled their vote share, and they've, of course, significantly increased their number of seats too. So I think for the BJP also, even though they've not won Telangana, there's actually good news for the party even from Telangana.
Let me answer.
Yes.
Shall I answer?
Yes.
Puneet is talking about BJP's vote share increasing. It is true. It has increased from 1 seat now to 7 or 8 seats or whatever it might be. But he should not forget there is a Lok Sabha election in between. 2018 assembly elections, BJP has increased, has no vote share as it is. It has only 1 seat. But in between, in 2019, there is Lok Sabha election and 4 parliament seats it has won. Means 4 into sort of what MLAs. And it has got more vote share than what it is today and then what it is previously in 2018. Then why did the BJP vote share come down now? There is a big question now from parliament elections to assembly elections, why it has come down. It is simple because BJP, that is where the PRS is blamed about the collusion with BJP. BJP has removed its state leader, Bandi Sanjay, who is very popular and who has risen the party to that level where it is now, where it is just before his leaving of that post. It has a lot of popularity even in the rural areas. Generally, BJP is popular in urban areas. It has a lot of popularity. Suddenly, he was removed from the post, and the central minister Kishan Reddy was put in that post.
Paparao, does it indicate that? No, but does it indicate that had Bandi Sanjay Kumar been around, this vote share would have shot up than what it is right now?
Definitely, it would have been more in the race. And that there is a compromise there, definitely. But I don't think KCR has given up anything. He did not ban his whatever it might be. It is something whereby, if at all you see, the reason that they are telling for the KCR and BJP collusion sort of thing is that they are talking about Kavita being not arrested. That is one reason they are telling. And the other reason they are telling is Bandi Sanjay being removed. And these two reasons, who gave the concession to whom? It is the BJP that gave the concession to KCR. Did you ever see in this country any regional party getting a concession from BJP? It's always rough riding. So that is why they got a concession, means there is something on this side that is threatening them. From the KCR side, he just bent their head. That is why if you go logically, KCR did not compromise. He got more concessions from BJP. No concession was given from the side of KCR, but he got concessions from, if at all it is true, it is Kavita's arrest. And if at all it is true, it is the Bandi Sanjay anyway, we know. That is the court case and Kavita will be arrested or not, it is up to court. But popular thing is that Kavita is not arrested because there is a collusion. That concession was given by BJP to KCR, and another concession Bandi Sanjay was given. Whether will the BJP commit such a suicide in a state, such a big party, nationwide party, dictating terms to everybody? So people have to think there is a lot of logic behind that, and we may not be able to talk about everything.
But what happens to BJP's Mission South then? If Telangana has gone this way, they've been able to increase the vote share definitely. But what about other states now? The kind of impact this Telangana could have on other southern states.
But anyway, whatever entry point they got, Karnataka they lost. Maybe they may get back. But this getting back and losing again, this vicious circle. Maybe parties with ideology like BJP and Communist parties, if at all, they may not be able to swallow it, because Communist parties and the BJP, they get ideology and they believe that once they come to power, their ideology will sweep the people and they will do something for the society really, and that society perpetually, not for generations, but over a long time, it will follow them sort of. This continuous churning, government anti-incumbency, this is not what should be the case. Even BJP is some sort of a same, what you call, it is of the same cloth. It is a piece of the same cloth. It has changed because BJP is also not so ideological as of in the past, because Govindacharya himself, as I know him, as I heard, Govindacharya himself told that BJP is like the Congress party of the 1980s or so. He told this in 1995 or so. So it is not much different from the Congress party. There are many similarities between the both parties. So that is why it is frequently losing power also. It is frequently losing power. If at all you are truly ideological, and if your ideology can really catch the people, you should not lose power on such frivolous things. You should not have corruption. What is 40% corruption? That is the Karnataka allegation on BJP. Should it be there with a party with ideology? Any other allegation can go. But how about this allegation of you are also part of the same money churning elections and money making politics and all?
Right. But Gyan, are you hearing anything about the BJP program in the evening? Are we expecting any kind of victory march by the Prime Minister generally as what happens? Any meetings lined up for the evening?
Yes, Prime Minister should be reaching BJP office around 6:37.
Okay.
Told. And then he will speak to the supporters, and then there will be a parliamentary board meeting.
Okay, so apparently we would hear about the chief ministerial candidates also by late night.
Observers will be sent to the respective states first, and then a decision will be taken. But I'm told that Vasundhara in Rajasthan is a very strong contender. That's
okay, so you're hinting at the fact that Vasundhara might be...
Yes, there are other contenders, but since the victory margin is not much and the Lok Sabha elections are coming, I think Vasundhara is a front runner. But having said that, let me say something else also. It actually doesn't matter whether who becomes the chief minister. BJP contests this election on the leadership of Prime Minister. He is the winner of the 3 states. So anybody can be appointed, and that person will follow the diktat of the Prime Minister and the party. So it actually doesn't matter. But for Rajasthan, I think Vasundhara is the front runner.
So one thing I want to mention here, Anshul kind of got my question in a different manner. I didn't mean is whether this pitting young leadership against the old and all that. What I meant was that there's an opportunity for a Congress party here to look for to infuse fresh blood, and same here for BJP as well. Modi ji personally seemed to have had some this thing with both Chauhan and Vasundhara, as if one were to believe political this thing, So it's a good opportunity to change the gear. Like our friend said, both the parties are actually mirroring each other in some ways. So probably this opens a good possibility for both of them to look at the leadership issue here. And this election, particularly as far as BJP is concerned, is completely won on the face of Modi.
Right. So
will he do that?
Yeah.
Will he do that on the BJP, and will Congress take a chance here?
Gyan, you want to answer that?
Yes, definitely. If we talk about Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan is the biggest OBC leader of the state, of the BJP. Since there's so much talk about caste survey, caste census, nationwide, and even from the allies, I don't think BJP is in a position to remove an OBC leader and bring somebody else. Even though there are talks about differences between the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, the sitting Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, but this election proves that the state leadership will be dependent on the Prime Minister for a lot of things, politically and for the governance part also. So Shivraj Singh Chauhan may not, I think should continue to be the Chief Minister face. And in Rajasthan, BJP needs a more experienced leadership. Gajendra Singh Chauhan is a very popular leader. BJP has done extensively well in the western part of the state, no doubt about it. But he is not the pan-state leader. He is not this leader of southern Rajasthan or northern Rajasthan or eastern part of Rajasthan. Vasundhara Raje is that leader.
All right. So, Puneet, the last question to you, and then we wind up the show. So, in terms of the stature of Narendra Modi, all the many political analysts who are writing off that, this Modi factor, the sheen is completely coming off. Now, Modi seems to be much, much taller than what he has been till yesterday.
Most certainly. I mean, it definitely, and coming as it does just 4 months ahead of the Lok Sabha polls, this will give a major boost to his, and I'm sure, as Gyan said, that he'll arrive at the BJP headquarters by 6 or 6:30. You'll see that narrative being built, and I'm quite certain tomorrow when Parliament convenes for its winter session, you'll see Modi sauntering, walking into the Lok Sabha, and or the BJP, MPs making Modi slogans. I'm quite certain that is how it's going to pan out. So that will be there, and rightly so. I mean, if everything rides on him, then naturally, that kind of build up is justified. But in the longer run, I would still say, as I had said earlier, that the BJP needs to be mindful of what it is doing to itself because of this over reliance on the Modi factor. Because as long as you're winning elections, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah.
But there is a timeline to everybody. And if say 5 years down the line, when the Prime Minister crosses his 75-year mark, at which he retires other senior leaders of the party, if he holds himself true to that retirement age, and he's no longer the pivot around which the party revolves, then after sidelining all these other leaders because look at the chief ministerial choices he's made after 2014. And barring Adityanath, who was, mind you, not Modi's choice for chief minister of UP, but barring Adityanath, none of those other chief ministers have managed to propel the BJP back to power in their states. Whether it was Raghuvar Das in Jharkhand, whether it was Devendra Fadnavis in Maharashtra, whether it was even Manohar Lal Khattar. Khattar may have continued as chief minister for 10 years, but it's not because he was bringing the party back to power there.
Absolutely.
So these are the leaders who were propped up after sidelining the actual, the old guard or the not so. I mean, the BJP CMs were not really old ones. Even Shivraj Singh Chauhan is actually younger to Narendra Modi in age, though more senior in terms of electoral politics.
You made a mention of Shivraj Chauhan. I'm getting tempted to ask Srini, sir. Sir, what do you think RSS is really going to think at this point of time? All those murmurs of, who will be the alternative of Narendra Modi in 2024? Are those conversations be put to silence now? Or will there still be some kind of murmurs on that? Shivraj Chauhan, for that matter, now, if he becomes a CM, he'll be the fourth time CM. Would he not have prime ministerial ambitions? Would RSS not think on those lines? And they dare not. So will they ever do that? Or Modi still remains unassailable at the moment for now?
Well, I think we are getting ahead of our story right now. My own, see, the thing is, these are the speculation which we do in media. What is the role of RSS? How would they deal with this issue? See, one thing undeniable is Modi remains the most popular leader as far as BJP is concerned. And he has a large following across India. Shivraj Chauhan at the most has his limitation within that state. Okay. And though some people may be tempted to say that, is it after Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh is a stronger citadel of BJP, because that's where they seem to be winning constantly. I think even that would be slightly far-fetched. And Chauhan hasn't shown any indication of having any great ambitions. But that's the way he is. Chauhan is always underplays his card. You never know, because
today, in fact, as the leads were coming in, he was among the first leaders to promptly call a camera unit and tell them that this victory is because of the Prime Minister.
See, so he is a very a different kind of politician, and nobody would have believed in 2003 when he had come to power that he will stay this long. So I think one has to wait and watch rather than speculating at this point of time.
So for now, at least, BJP wins in 3 states. And Telangana goes to Congress. And of course, we don't have to forget Mizoram, where the counting will happen tomorrow. So we'll try and update you on that as to what the results from Mizoram will be. Thank you so much, Srini sir, Puneet, Gyan. It was wonderful having you on the program. And our live coverage continues on the Federal. So please stay tuned. Again in the evening, I'll meet you at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.